Hi, this is Billy Bean here with another segment of Truth by Billy Bean. Today's date, October 6, 2024, time in Texas, about 11 a.m. So this is a flash update, and I'd like to begin with space weather. Apparently, the CMEs inbound are going to be much weaker and later than anticipated. It's believed that later today, October 6th, we might have a weak geomagnetic storm 1, some auroras, so that's good news. From the National Hurricane Center, their 10 a.m. update on Milton. So we have Milton today, 10 a.m. update, 65 miles per hour. Now, to be a hurricane, Cat 1 requires a wind of 75 miles per hour. We're going to see this storm catastrophically juiced up by the deep state. I mean, today, and this is Sunday, and it's supposed to impact Tampa, coming in, still forecast to make landfall at Tampa, where storm surge now is predicted at 18 feet above normal tide. That comes from Hal Turner's site, not the National Hurricane Center. Hal has some access to some intel sources. So storm surge, Tampa, now Tuesday. Some are saying Thursday. So Tuesday through Thursday, this storm is going to be juiced up. It's predicted by the National Hurricane Center a 2, 3, or 4. I believe it's coming in as a 5, and it's now coming out that Helene most likely came in as a 5. And I can relate as a citizen of Texas that July 1, Beryl came in to South Texas, where I live. Predicted to come in as a 1, actually came in as a 5 with winds of 160 miles per hour. So I say to the people of Florida, if you have not returned from Helene, it's good to stay where you are. If you are in the Tampa area or lower, and Hurricane Track had brought out that the storm surge from landfall will extend south to the tip of the Florida Peninsula. And we now have this information coming out. It's predicted to be 18 feet of storm surge. Now, during Helene, I paid close attention to those predictions for storm surge, which I found uncharacteristically high. But I did keep up with what was being reported from multiple sources. So I was satisfied that that prediction for Helene in the Big Bend, Florida area of 18 to 20 feet did in fact occur. So I can now say to the people of Florida, Tampa down to the tip of the peninsula, it's good to leave this area now. I believe that most likely, based on my experience with Helene and that storm surge being accurate, I believe 18 feet of storm surge, and that's 18 feet above normal tide, could likely come in Tampa Wednesday or Thursday down to the tip of the peninsula. So that's going on. So we have currently today the National Hurricane Center saying that Milton has winds of 65 miles per hour, barometric of 991. So we see the barometric pressure going down, indicating that the hurricane is intensifying, moving forward at 6 miles per hour. Now, we can see with our own lying eyes that weather modification, weather warfare is indeed taking place again with Milton. This is Sunday. We have a wind of 65 miles per hour. It's not even a Cat 1 hurricane yet. And it's going to go from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I believe, it's predicted to be up to a Cat 4. I believe it's going to come in as a Cat 5. Verification that we are seeing with our own lying eyes weather modification. So that's going on. And Florida, I have information from my Patriot subscribers. The areas of Florida hit by Helene are still in a state of shock and trauma, and yet the second hurricane is to come in Wednesday or Thursday. Now, I submit the people in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama that it's good that you pay attention to what's going on along the coast. It's my position that this storm is going to be juiced up and be huge enough to also impact Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. It's going to come in landfall at Tampa. But while it's progressing, and effects in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama could begin Sunday or Monday, very heavy rain, possible flash flooding, and winds are going to be occurring along sustained winds along the coastline of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Florida beginning, I believe, Monday. So the winds along this Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama is predicted at 20. I believe it'll be higher than that. We saw with Helene a diameter and a wind field of 300 to 400 miles. So I'm saying to the people of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, it's good to monitor this and take, do your preps and be ready. But we're seeing with our own lying eyes another example of a storm being juiced up. We saw it with Beryl, we saw it with Helene, and now we're going to see it with Milton. Now, I'd like to say thank you to Robert W., Becky D., and Leisha E. for additional support for my channel. I found a new channel this morning, Appalachia's Homestead with Patera, and I'll link that for you. She has some good information. She and her husband have a farm in North Carolina, and they made it well through the storm, and she is tiptoeing around of the catastrophic effects and the huge number of people who have passed away in North Carolina. And I took down some of her Patriot subscribers' comments. In Hendersonville, we have not had showers for 8 days. We have no power, water, working toilets, cell phone. We lost our freezer that was full of food. The FEMA $750 offer to individuals is a lie, and we know now it's a loan, and if you don't repay it in 1 year, FEMA will seize your property. That's the intent of the evil and corrupt U.S. federal government right now, who is juicing up these weather systems to decimate the American people, to reduce the number of people likely to vote for President Trump in November, and also to steal land and resources. And this Patriot subscriber of Appalachia's Homestead says, don't believe the FEMA $750 lie. No one qualifies, and I just want to take a shower. And now we have this, also from Appalachia Homestead site. I'm a nurse practitioner in Spruce Pine, North Carolina. It's a small town of 2,500 located between Asheville and Boone. And we've had no power, water, internet for 9 days. FEMA has now descended on our town. And you got that right, baby. That's what we say of plagues and monsters. Descend is the correct term. And she makes this statement that Samaritan's Purse, so she works at a hospital, and they had contacted Samaritan's Purse, that's the Billy Graham's group, and the next day they delivered by helicopter on the ground Tuesday morning medical supplies, water, generators, plus. So we see that going on. And from Appalachia Homestead's commenters, Fort Bragg, and now currently called Fort Liberty, North Carolina, a U.S. military base in North Carolina, are just 3 hours south of this devastation area in North Carolina. But JB has given a stand-down order. Fort Bragg, the U.S. military, could supply the citizens of North Carolina with mobile hospitals, kitchens, communication links, and tents. But no, the JBKH show gives a stand-down order to the U.S. military to help the dying citizens of North Carolina. And another commenter from Appalachia Homestead site, don't sign anything and don't sell your land and mineral rights. And now we have this from my Facebook site. I believe they won't let people in because they don't want people to see the bodies and to see how bad it is. I agree 100% with that. Before that storm came in, I could see in my mind water gushing down and feet and feet of water and gushing down and covering houses and people. But I couldn't understand what was the mechanism because for a hurricane to impact the North Carolina area on the border with Tennessee. So we have Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, heavily impacted, Virginia, West Virginia. So in this area, but now we know and we have verified that the gates on 3 dams were open, and that fits with what I could see in my mind happening. I believe in North Carolina that there are tens of thousands of dead people, and now the evil and corrupt U.S. federal government wants to come in and say, no, we're just going to bulldoze over the bodies and then seize the land. Evil and corrupt. And now we know in North Carolina, the $160 to $190 million contract to seize lithium, quartz, and other rare earth minerals in North Carolina is a contract between the deep state transnational company BlackRock and the Department of Defense. So that's going on. Now I have a Facebook friend who's talking about Florida. The Florida people are still reeling from the impact of Helene. And this is in no boots on the ground in Pasco County, Florida. And these are some areas that are in crisis position where the people need help. Leisure Beach, Signal Cove, Vista Del Mar, Sea Pines, Sea Ranch, Hudson Beach, Pineland Park, Treasure Cove, Sea Forest, Oak Springs RV Park, and other locations, Flora Mar, Bailey's Bluff. Yeah, so that's going on. People are still in crisis need in Florida, and another hurricane is coming. So a Facebook friend, based on input from the Cherryville Town Talk, says that most of Chimney Rock, North Carolina, now sits in Lake Lure. And it is the Lake Lure Dam, that's one of the 3 dams where the gates were open to destroy Chimney Rock, North Carolina. I have a Facebook friend who lives in North Carolina who's thanking her neighbors for bringing in food for several days. And we have this. I have a Facebook friend who's saying, so far in North Carolina, 80% of the help has gone to these areas: Asheville, Boone, Banner Elk, Linville, Johnson City, and Elizabethtown, which is great. But she lists other areas of North Carolina who are in crisis position, and as we heard with those subscribers to Appalachia Homestead, these people have been without power, water, and so on for 8 or 9 days. And the same thing apparently is going on in Florida. Now, these other areas, my Facebook friend list that are in crisis need in North Carolina: Newland, Cranberry, Spear, Frank, Elk River, Elk Park, Rowan Mountain, Buck Mountain, Shell Creek, Dark Holler, Blevins Creek, Roaring Creek, Bulladine, Jonas Ridge, Burnsville, Spruce Pine, and we had that nurse practitioner, a subscriber to Appalachia Homestead, who was talking about the need there. And my Facebook friend is also saying Spruce Pine, Crabtree, Whittaker, Brambles, The Cove, and Green River. So we see people are dying for lack of food and water in North Carolina, and apparently people in Florida are also in crisis situations. I have a Facebook friend, and she was part of a aid on the ground in North Carolina, and they had just discovered 2,000 people stranded in Chandler, North Carolina, who had had no food for 6 days. And they have access to choppers, and they were able to take in food and water. And I understand that many cries for help from North Carolina and Florida are coming out via Facebook with people on the ground. And this information came from Sarah Taylor. I have a Facebook friend who still cites the Mount Mule Pack Ranch, still making deliveries of food and water in North Carolina. And now we have this. Hal Turner is bringing out this new information from his sources about the storm surge, predicted to be 18 feet above normal level. When Milton hits Tampa, most likely I'm predicting as a 5 on Wednesday or Thursday. The National Hurricane Center has not yet put out storm surge predictions, so that's good. I have a Patriot subscriber. Yes, unusual weather. Boston, Massachusetts, October 5, 90 degrees Fahrenheit. I have a Patriot subscriber because I had brought out information from another Patriot subscriber about hearing a two-rotor helicopter, and this Patriot subscriber says if it's two rotors, then it is most likely a Chinook 46 U.S. military helicopter. I have a Patriot subscriber in North Carolina. My neighbor videoed the dam gates being opened and flooding taking place near Chimney Rock, North Carolina. So we see patriots on the ground who have video proof of the dam gates being opened, and that fits with what I could see in my mind for North Carolina. And I have this. I have a Patriot subscriber who's substantiating. Before Helene, the population in Chimney Rock was 65,000, and now it's 140. And now I have this information coming out from Stephen Ben-Nun, Israeli News Live. Stephen was formerly CIA, now has a ministry, citing his information from his sources. Currently in the U.S., the JBKH show, the Dems, the Deep State, since 2021 have let into the United States and positioned them all across the U.S., CCP military, and the number Stephen is hearing, 1.2 million, and they have been issued blue helmets, you know, to masquerade as being UN. I got this to say, those blue helmets are easy to see. And I agree with the sheriffs in North Carolina. When you go out, go armed, safety off, and the rules of engagement I received from God a few weeks ago, fire at will. We do have in the United States of America CCP military, Iranian military, and terrorists from around the world who've been positioned across the U.S. by the deep state via the Dem political party. But I got this to say, they're not going to be a match for God and the American people, 120 million now organized in militias. So yeah, that's going on. So I'll link that for you. And I believe it's good to remember, no weapon formed against us will prosper. God is in charge and He is on the move. I believe it's good to remain steady, continue to pray, and that's, I noticed the advice from Appalachia Homestead with Patera. She also is circumspect, but giving out good information. I'll link her site. She also recommends this: remain steady and continue to pray. I love you, and I'll see you soon.